Hello! In this video, how our wood stove went wrong again. What HETAS said to me in an email in response to them seeing my previous video about the wood stove. Yes, they actually saw that video. Some upgrades to my workbench and some garden room upgrades too. So a few weeks ago I did a video about the issues that we had with our wood stove. Basically the HETAS registered company that installed it a few years ago didn't install it properly, so this year it was condemned by HETAS, meaning we could no longer use it. And the company that had installed it had lost their HETAS registered status. We then had some real problems getting things resolved, but eventually after many months of messing about, we finally managed to get remedial works carried out by a different company who were HETAS registered so that we could use it again this winter. And use it we did for a couple of weeks until we noticed some white stuff dripping down the flue. A quick search on the web suggested that the most likely problem was that the flue hadn't been sealed properly and that some of the fire cement or insulation fibres could be dripping down. So we contacted the company that did the remedial work for us, who came over and had a look, and it turns out that wasn't the problem. Basically, the white chalky stuff was something called bloom, which is what happens when lead reacts with moisture, causing oxidization, and rain or condensation can cause it to run down the flue. The original installer had installed a collar around the flue using pop rivets, which apparently isn't the best way to do things. So the guys that did the remedial works placed an order for a new drip collar so that things could be sealed up properly, and it was installed a few days later. Problem solved, and hopefully that will be the last of it. Now on to what HETAS said in an email to me about the previous video I put out about my wood stove. I didn't expect them to see the video, let alone contact me, but someone responsible for their marketing and communications got in touch and said that they were pleased that I shared my experiences and that the video had been shared with the senior management team and that their newly appointed CEO would be open to meeting me to discuss our experience and was open to going on camera or doing a podcast or something. Now, if you remember from that previous video when I reached out to HETAS's senior management originally, back when we were having all of the problems getting things resolved, they never responded to my email. Now they know I have an audience on YouTube, all of a sudden they are open to talking to me, which is kind of annoying. So in response, I thanked them for getting in touch, but declined the offer of a conversation because as far as I'm concerned, our issues are resolved now. I guess it was nice of them to get in touch, but the cynic in me can't help but think that because that previous video has already hit over 200,000 views, maybe they saw it as possibly some kind of marketing opportunity to try and put a positive spin on the story. Who knows? Anyway, I thought it was worth doing an update seeing as there was so much interest in that video, but now we're hoping to put all of it behind us. But if things go wrong again, then maybe there'll be another update. My workbench is in need of some TLC, particularly the vise. A few years back, I built these extended vise jaws for it, and I think I said in that video I wasn't sure how long it would last. As you can see, there's a lot of racking now, and if I clamp something in at the top, you'll see the jaws do not remain parallel at all. Not only that, but I only found out recently that this vise is actually installed on the wrong side of my workbench. You see, it should be over here. At the moment, if I want to cut something, I do it like this. Now, as I get to the end of this cut, I really want to be holding on to the offcut, which means I have to cross my hand over. There's a lot of space here between where I'm cutting and the vise itself, so normally I have to kind of keep the workpiece steady in my left hand while making the cut. One other problem that I completely forgot to mention while filming is that the jaws don't grip material very well, and that's because I had stupidly applied hard wax oil when I made these, which was a bad idea. If I want to plane something, typically I do it like this. Works fine. But apparently this works better if the mass of the workbench is behind the workpiece rather than in front. Does that really make a difference? I'm not convinced, but I want to move it over anyway, so let's give it a try. The distance between here and here measures as 86 millimeters. But I want these jaws of the vise to sit slightly below the surface of my workbench, so I'm going to add 15 mil. So let's call it 100 mil. So if I measure down 100 mil, that brings me roughly about here. I'm going to need to add some material to the front here.
I'll mark up the holes for mounting the vise onto this block for no other reason than I don't want the screws that I'm about to add to mount this to my workbench frame to get in the way of the bolts that I'll use to secure the vise. This plate measures about 13mm thick, so I need to cut a slot in the apron rail to accommodate that. I'm using an 18mm auger bit here to give me some wiggle room since I'm not after a precise fit here. I don't like to spend too much time on jobs like this. I need it to work well, but it doesn't need to look perfect. This is a workbench, not fine furniture. Next, I made a rough cardboard template for the rest of the material I'll need to remove to accommodate the screw and guide bars. I also want to recess the back jaw into the side of the workbench top. And as always, there's a knot right where you don't want one. I've got some nice chunky coach screws that I can use to secure the vise, and I'll use some squeeze clamps to hold it in place temporarily. Another block on the inside of the apron will give me more material to mount it to. Rather than make some new vise jaws, I'll reuse the old ones as they are still in decent condition, but I do want to remove that slippery finish. I temporarily fit the back jaw so that I can scribe a cut line to get it sitting flush with the surface of my workbench top. And then the same process again for the front jaw.
This is one of those jobs I've been meaning to do for months, and I'm so glad to have it done, especially because the vise is probably one of the most used tools in this workshop. Oh yeah, that's now really nice and grippy. One thing's for sure though, this is going to take some getting used to. I'm really not used to it being on this side. Now you might remember from a previous video, these, my pop-up bench dogs, which work in conjunction with my vise. Obviously now my vise has been moved, I think I'm going to retire these because, as you can see, they tend to get stuck with all of the dust and stuff that clogs them up. To be honest, I haven't used them in ages. I think it's time to say goodbye to these.
I'll just epoxy these dogs right into their holes. And then freshen up the surface of the workbench. In the past, I always applied finish to this workbench top, but I don't do that anymore. With the nature of the work that I do, it gets messed up very quickly, regardless of whether it has a couple of coats of varnish on or not. So I'd rather just spend 10 minutes sanding it back once every few months. I will get some varnish on the edges and front of the vise jaws though, just not on the inside this time. And while I'm at it, I'll clean up my other workbench top too. This one though, I do like to varnish as it tends to take much less abuse. And that's the workshop ready for another year of projects.
A company got in touch with me recently asking if I wanted to try out one of their new smart locks, which operates using either a PIN code or fingerprint or both. And I immediately said yes, because we have a genuine need for a product like this. You see, every time we go away, we have a couple of different cat sitters who come over to feed Mickey and Hazel. And that means A, we need to get our key to them before we leave. B, we have to remember to remove the key that's on the inside of the door, something which once resulted in me having to do a 60-mile round trip, by the way. And C, obviously we want to keep things as secure as possible, so no leaving a key under a doormat or anything silly like that. I'm going to install this to our garden room first, just to try it out. It's designed to be a smarter, faster and key-free way to secure your home, and the Wellock app lets you lock and unlock your door from anywhere. You can even check who has come and gone. It's a great solution for kids, family or guests. It lasts up to 12 months on 4 AAA batteries and warns you on the app and the lock itself when it drops below 20%.
You can save up to €50 on the Wheelock U81 by using the promo code SAVE50 at the link in the description. When I was clearing out my workbench to fit the vise, I came across a piece of Tricoya Extreme that I forgot I had. For those not familiar, this is exterior grade MDF, and for a while my wife has been asking me to make a sign for the garden room. It was a rare, dry and pleasant winter's day, so I decided to set up outside to make this. I needed to decide whether I wanted to go with this font or this font, and I decided that I liked this the most, but I didn't really like the G's, so I added a little tail to each one, and this is what I'm going to go with. I'll use spray adhesive to stick it on. And I've got a 12mm router bit installed, which is slightly wider than the thickness of these letters, but I'm fine with that. Bolder is better in my book. I should probably explain what Goggins means. Earlier in the summer, when toddler Brown was younger, he loved being in the garden room, but he couldn't say garden. Instead, he used to say, "Can we go Goggins?" We'd been trying to think of a name for the garden room for a while, and Goggins just seemed perfect. I just wanted to take the opportunity to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Coming soon to the channel will be a gate project and another junk hunt. But first, I'm going to be taking some time off. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next year.